internet. But let's see if you can see us. Give me that thumbs up.
There's something wrong. I know because I can see the top of your head.
Uh-oh.
You're bouncing around, Kelly.
Well, they can't see it.
You're not moving.
I'm not moving?
You're moving. But you look like you're a robot.
Yeah, you're glitching.
Yeah.
Okay, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and tell everybody, and then I'll check it. First off, if you're seeing us, happy Wine Wednesday. I'm drinking my champagne and watermelon because it's been that kind of day, in fact, that kind of week. But I hope that all your seahorses and your aquariums are doing fantastically. We've had some internet. I pay big bucks for fiber internet, and we're having some internet issues over here tonight. So bring on the technical difficulties, right? As usual, we don't have a special guest tonight. It's just open chat. So we will do our best. And if we have any troubles, we'll just have to jump in and out or keep it short tonight. But I'm here for you every Wednesday. Come heck or high water. But anyhow, hope you're doing better than I have been this week. It's telling me my internet connection is unstable. Boo you, internet connection that I pay big bucks for. What the hell? Anyhow, while I'm waiting for everything to stop.
I take exception to that.
Well,
How about on volleyball night sometimes?
Well, let me do this real quick in case it does get freezing. I just wanted to say really quick, I know you guys in the Zoom can't see it, but I'll show you guys afterwards. But Aquachar, whom has a 15% discount if you use the code Seahorse Whisperer on the website to try it. And we have the whole episode that we talked about Aquachar. And I just got in my new bags for Aquachar, and I was holding two, but they are like really, really wide hold, and so, not big enough where the Aquachar will go through, but where it's really like the Aquachar is just sitting there. So I got quite a few, so I'm going to be trying them and letting you guys know what I think, and then I'm also going to have some maybe for some prizes coming soon, so maybe. But thank you, Aquachar. You're awesome. I love the product. Just had to shout that out, and I'll be posting about how the bags are working soon. But okay, are you guys froze?
Nope.
Not that we know of.
Okay.
You
okay.
kind of are.
I think you're.
Yeah, the only one I see freezing is yours, Kelly.
Yeah, and I think you guys are freezing on the actual stream, which sucks. Yeah, man, guys, it's telling me internet is unstable. I don't even know. We're just gonna have to try. Cheryl, what were we talking about right before we started? If I have to jump back out and in, I will. But what were we talking about, Cheryl?
Basically, I used some plastic, and rather than covering a power head or a wave maker with like a fine mesh bag, which really messes up the flow on it, it really reduces your flow. I used egg crate and cable ties and built boxes for the pumps to go in. We left an inch all the way around, so there's no way a seahorse is going to get their tail all the way into the pump. But they blow like gangbusters. You don't get the dramatic drop in the flow. And so I set up some hitches in front of the pump. And now everybody's sitting there happily hitching going right in front of it. And I just got a message just before we started from Dee, and she built some, and hers are doing the same thing. And I'm going to do a quick screenshot.
Yeah, share it. I'm not even going to try to make you big because it's freezing up already, but share away.
And it really works well.
Did you share it?
Yeah. I saw it.
Okay, it might be. Okay, here we go.
I'm loving it because it also, when you start using a finer mesh, it collects all kinds of food and debris, and you're constantly having to clean it.
Yeah.
And these pumps are self-cleaning. With the box, I don't get anything stuck, and they're all over the tank chasing food.
Hey, you guys, real quick, I am going to try to jump out and in because I can't see anything that you're talking about. So you guys hang out for just a second. Cheryl will be ready to share again in a
Yeah.
second, and I'll be right back.
All right.
And you guys can watch me try to fix this live. Isn't that fun? We'll have to edit it later. Sorry. Nothing I can do when it just does this. All right, let's just try to X out of there. How was your weekend? How was your week? Anybody out there that's watching me try to fix this, let me know how you're doing, what questions you might have. I come every Wednesday, even when things are not going well. I can't even X this out, guys. Ugh. I hate when it does this. All right, I'll be right back, you guys. Sorry.
All right. We'll see you
Okay.
shortly.
Yeah, I can't do anything.
Cheryl,
Good luck.
I use hydroponic baskets. They come in all different sizes,
Those would
and
work.
so whatever you use, you can usually just fasten that over a power head or the wave makers or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Egg crate laying around from when I used to use bio balls, and I figured, well, let's see if this will work. Put it together. Went, ooh, this works.
Yeah, I've got some of that from an old sump, actually. I was just looking at stuff today. I got my fry tub in the house, so I know it fits. I haven't done anything with it, but we were moving around furniture because we're changing around the living room. So I have like one side, like I think you saw on my Facebook, that we're going to have one side of the living room is kind of centered around the fish. And then the other side is more for like TV watching and stuff. Because
Mm-hmm.
I think Scott was getting.
Yeah, like guys, seriously, this might take a sec. I'm really sorry. Hey, Dylan, it's nice to see you back. I was just typing in the comments. We've had a couple of weeks with no technical difficulties, and then of course you come back. I think you're a bad luck charm. I'm just kidding. We love that you come, and I apologize. I knew before I started it's been acting up all day. I don't know if it's the time of the month or if they're doing updates. We pay a whole bunch of money for fiber internet, and yeah, it's been crazy all day, and it said already that my internet connection's unstable. I can't even close the Zoom to restart it. It's just like frozen. So frustrating. So frustrating. And if I stop the stream, it'll restart into the same and it'll mess everything up. So I'm just trying to fix it, and I'll just have to edit it once we're done. But apologies, guys. I just kind of gotta keep trying to fix it. What's up with you, Dylan? Did you redo the tank, or what's up with your Seahorse tank? I don't. I Since you did miss the last few weeks, I forgot to mention. I think you may not even know. I was having some trouble with my orange Seahorses in the big 65 gallon, and everybody was helping me. I still haven't figured out the dang skimmer. It's driving me nuts. It overflows if I turn it on at all. I tried to leave it running, bubbling, for like a couple of days, and it's still overflowing. I think I'm just gonna have to get a new skimmer. But I think when the orange seahorses stopped eating for a minute, I really feel like it's because I replumbed the UV sterilizer, and I think it was heating up the water, and just or something about replumbing that UV sterilizer, the seahorses stopped eating, and I was freaking out. And so I took them out, of course, put them in clean, fresh salt water, in like a 10 gallon, and replumbed again and took the UV off that tank, and they're back in eating and doing great. So yay on that. Boy, guys, I don't know what to do. It's just not letting me even do anything. So frustrating. Like so frustrating. Yeah, I can barely move the cursor. So, yeah, ugh. And all my friends are over there talking in the Zoom, and I can't get to it. Fun times. I hate this computer. All right, well, I don't know. I don't know what to do. If I could show you guys my screen, it's like I move the cursor and it's going. It's just spinning uncontrollably. In fact, I have a question for you guys because I think I was wondering about this the other day. All of a sudden, on my computer, and this is the PC, not the new MacBook, but on the PC, all of a sudden, in the bottom right corner, there was a Google Drive icon. Uh-oh. Okay, so there was a Google Drive icon in the bottom right of my computer, right? And trying to do two things at once. It's not going well. So, okay, there. I think I X'd them out finally. All right, so let's. Sorry, I know I'm trying to talk and do two things at once, and that never goes well for me. What I was going to say is there was this Google Drive icon in the bottom right corner of my computer, and I'm like, well, I used Google Drive all the time, but is this? And I had updated the computer, so I thought maybe, Well, when I clicked on it, it said sign into Google Drive, but then it said, if you did not download this, do not sign into Google Drive. Only sign in if you downloaded it yourself. And I'm like, but I didn't download it myself. So I haven't done anything with it. And I need to probably get it off my computer. Who knows? Maybe we're being hacked right now. Maybe somebody's trying to get into our conference. But let me see if I can get back in here now. Really, really apologize, guys. I almost did not go live tonight because I was like, it's already messing up. It's already not going well, but I miss you guys if we don't go live. We have such great conversations. So let's see if I can jump back in, and I'll just cut the first half hour out if I can get back in. But yeah, let me know if you've seen the Google Drive thing in your lower right corner of your screen. And yeah, I might even need somebody better at technical stuff to help me get it off my computer, because with a Mac, it's so easy to take something off your computer. You know, you just put it in the trash can. With a PC, there's all these, you have to uninstall, and then you have to check for it in different libraries, in different places. So this is on the PC, which scares me. And yeah, so let me know about that. And see, and that's the other odd thing is, I think this computer is just screwed. What's the Windows blue circle thing? I know I'm just talking to myself here. Great stream, I know, but I can't think of it now. Not Safari, the one that's on a PC. Anyways, it keeps trying to open, and I'm not opening it. So my computer's probably hacked, guys. To be honest, I didn't take good care of it. We're probably hacked, but let's just try to get through tonight, and we'll figure it out later. And, oh gosh, people are talking to me. All right, so let me try to get back in here with them. Crossing fingers, everyone. Thanks for hanging out in the chat, and thanks for everybody hanging out in the Zoom waiting. Come on. Jiminy Christmas. And of course, I will try to get this fixed by next week. I've been saying we're going to stop using Zoom forever, though. But I don't think this is Zoom. I think this is the computer. There's just constantly this stuff that appears. Do you guys have these problems, or is it just me? Let me know. Where the heck is my watermelon champagne? I need it. But Dylan's, I'm going to look at your comments here in just a second. Let me see if I can get these guys back in here. I went through the other day trying to delete all of the, yeah, it's just so slow. It's unreal. I went through the other day trying to delete or go through
recording in progress
in order to make them easier to navigate. But okay, all right, we're back. Let's try again. Can you repeat all that, Cheryl? Sorry.
She doesn't remember what it was now.
No. You were showing us, because I have trouble with covering wave makers all the time. So you were showing the box that you guys are using to cover the wave makers, and I just wanted to see a picture if you could.
That was the egg crate around the wave makers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello? Oh my gosh, are you serious right
Well,
now? Oh,
and I'm like, got almost no flow out of them. And I mean, it was just so bad. And they kept collecting food and all kinds of that I didn't want in the tank.
mm-hmm.
So I'm tickled with them.
Yep. Well, I'm gonna say, do you have it posted? Do you have it posted on your Facebook or something?
Actually, I posted it in Seahorse Sources group with photos, and I don't remember if I posted the instructions in there or if I sent them to a couple people on how to make them. But they're easy to make.
Mm-hmm.
After you've done the first one, you can make one in probably about 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Well, I'm gonna find Go ahead.
I'm the nut that always try. I get an idea, and I get to thinking there's a better way, and then I build something instead of because the stuff that I really want nobody makes. I do the same thing with my tanks and with my sumps and stuff. That's why I don't own any professionally built sumps. I know exactly what I want.
I'll build it even if somebody makes it.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
It's not that I'm cheap or anything, but I am kind of cheap.
Yeah,
Well,
thrifty.
I actually turned my old BioBalls filters. I actually Euro-braced them, reinforced them, put baffles in them, and I'm using those as sumps as well, which is crazy.
Jeez. Well, Dylan said he uses filter bags and the tops and tie the tops for my one wave maker in my tank. And I was using the mesh netting, but Holly pointed out a few weeks ago that just gets so irritating to clean because you have to redo the zip ties and clean them so often because algae and other things, anything gets stuck on the sides and grows on it, and it's a pain in the butt. So unfortunately I didn't get to see the picture that Cheryl shared yet, but I'm gonna find it in Seahorse Sources group and sell it, share it on Seahorse Whisperer page. Also,
let me see. I can bring it back.
Okay, hopefully it doesn't.
I've already been told I need to patent this, but I can bring it back.
I think she got into the wine before she come on.
Yeah. Right.
Can you see that, Kelly?
I can't. It's so frozen.
Yeah.
It's just.
I can see it. We can see it. Yeah, I like that. I was saying while you were trying to fix your stuff, because I'm using mesh
Okay.
media bags and they zip. So I don't have to worry about the drawstrings or anything like that. So, I mean, they're easy to change on and off, but everything sticks to them.
Exactly.
They work like a filter. They suck all the stuff to them, and you have to change them out like you change out the filter socks every day or two.
Well, and I found that using these wide open like they are right now, because I get flow out the sides and out the front, my tank, there's nothing on the bottom of my tanks.
Nice. Mm-hmm. And I think you said, didn't you say the seahorses were hitching all over it?
Well, they're hitching into. I put a couple of silicone hitches in front, right near there, and you can see them moving back and forth. And the seahorses now go over there and hitch on the flow side of those hitches and sit there and kind of wobble back and forth and have a classic seahorse. But they're wide enough that the seahorses, even if they try to hitch to them, the box, there's no way they're getting their tail in there.
Their tail
really
can't
cool.
get far enough.
I love that. And it doesn't, it probably doesn't get as dirty because it's not so small that it's collecting stuff. Or, how often do you have to clean it?
Everything gets blown off of it. And the pumps themselves are actually self-clean.
Gotcha. Cool. I love it. That is.
Which makes it really nice.
I was sitting here thinking about the aquachar bags because, the mesh netting and the regular filter bags, Dylan, doesn't it restrict flow when you use that? And just man, cleaning them so often, it's just a pain. So I love the box. And you should patent it because that's a really good idea.
Yeah. And one that snaps on so you can take it off
Yep. I love it.
instead of zip ties.
Oh yeah, two snips and the wave maker's the pump is out of there. And I mean, I've got it braced in with a larger cable tie just to make sure. I always kind of overbuild when I'm first experimenting to be safe.
Uh-huh.
And I actually wired that pump in place with a cable tie, a larger cable tie.
Mm-hmm.
But it keeps it from sliding anywhere. But it really isn't necessary because I've also got it hooked up on the back. So I got a little carried away.
Gotcha. Yeah, it keeps saying my internet connection's unstable, guys. So I'm calling AT&T in the morning, but we'll go as long as we can. What's going on? What I love that, Cheryl. That's so cool. What's going on with you, Holly? Anything new?
So I added green star polyps and a zinnia to my display tank
Which your
last week.
crabs love to throw
Oh,
around.
everybody. Well, when they were brand new, I just got little tiny pieces, maybe like an inch or so from the local fish store. And the guy, they'd been sitting in this not for sale tank for about a month or so. And the owner of the store still hadn't fragged or priced anything. So the lady that works there that I always do business with, she says, what the heck? She just broke me off a piece of the green star polyp. She's all, how about $5? And and the zinnia was a nice little zinnia. I'm like, I'll give you 10 for the I found one that was apart that wasn't attached to everything. So I'll pay 10 for that. So I brought them home, but I didn't have time to really glue them or do anything. I set them down kind of where I wanted them, but every other living creature in the tank messed with those corals for the next couple days till I had time to glue them to something immobile.
Right.
So what happened was the zinnia was on this little piece of rock, and I set it down on top of a big flat rock, and the crabs go walking by and give it a shove or roll around, or they're fighting on it, or just anything they could to mess with it. And then even my Mandarin dragonette, she swims up to it and she's looking at it like, what kind of toy are you? She left it alone, but I mean, Seahorse tails came by and knocked it off. And finally, 2 days went by. The third morning, I had to dig it out of Scrappy Doo's cave. I had to actually move the live rock to find it and rearrange the reef. So I took it out. I crazy glued it to a piece of bathroom tile, just like a square bathroom piece of tile. So, and put it back where it was. And so it's in the same spot, but now nobody can move it. And now that nobody can move it, they're not interested in it at all. They just they leave it completely alone.
Yep.
So I guess it was kind of a game for a while. They're like, oh, we can shove this guy around. And now that they can't, it's no fun. And then the green star polyp, I rubber banded it to a tile because it's like a strip. And then I set it down where I wanted it. And they're both happy now because nobody's messing with them, So
my favorite
one
is
of the
trying to
things I
glue
really
down
wanted to
mushrooms.
do is I really wanted to do a carpet of green star polyps. Like just have it cover the entire bottom of the tank. I just thought that would be so pretty, but it'd take a long time, and it's got to be something you want. But how are they reacting to your lighting? Did you have to change anything or?
They're fine. No, and that was one of the tanks, when I was thinking about getting them, I kind of went online and I read about them and I asked some people, and actually in the Macna thing, I was asked. And basically, what I gathered from most people is they're so hardy. It's really hard to screw up with them. They like a lot of light, but they don't absolutely need it, and they don't need to be fed, they don't need to be messed with really. And like the Xenia, I guess, likes the dirty Seahorse water
Yep.
anyway. So I'm like, though, yeah, we'll see how they do. They're doing okay. They seem happy now that they're not being pushed around.
Well,
Well,
people really
I
want
was
to
just
keep
reading an
coral in their
article.
seahorse tanks too. So I love that you're doing this, and we'll share the results and how it goes. And it's funny your story about them wanting to push something around. You guys have seen the all-in-one tank with the two, like, they're just fake yellow trees, not trees, but um like I don't know what you would call them, like fake yellow coral, I guess.
Like coral
Yeah,
from
and one
sponge.
of them came
Mhm.
out of the place that I'd stuck it into the rock, and so it kind of floats around the tank. And I'm like, well, that's not the design I had. I want it back the way I want. They won't get off of it. They love going for a ride on this piece of fake plant that just floats around the tank.
Yeah.
I mean, it's their favorite place to be now.
I bet that's fun.
What were you saying, Cheryl?
Well, I was going to say, years ago, when I had softies in a seahorse tank, I had mushrooms. Now, you glue mushrooms down, and the mushrooms are going to be long gone someplace else by morning.
Oh,
Not only that, what you started with just a few, you're going to have 25 or 30 in no time. And I had to laugh because next thing I know, I've got a mushroom tank.
right, right. And Ray, you always did like Kenya trees and those and other softies, right?
Yep.
Did you just say yeah?
Yes.
Okay,
No,
so
I didn't say yes. I said yep.
gotcha. And macros, right, right. How are you doing? What's new with you? I know you said the treadmill broke. Not cool.
Well, that's just part of life. Things never seem to go right.
Mm.
But I built another wick bed tub for my tomatoes. So after this year, I won't have to dig in the ground anymore to plant the tomatoes. So they'll all be in wick beds.
Cool.
Nice.
Makes sense.
Man, I have recently fallen in love with heirloom tomatoes. They are just so amazing. There's such a big difference. So I wish I could figure out how to grow them. I think it's so cool that you do. Just grow in general. Go ahead.
Well, I'm going to keep it going again in the greenhouse. The ones outdoors are still going, but there's a lot of tomatoes on there that never get picked because the days are getting too short now. And the temperatures, we don't have the heat units per day now to give them the fast enough growth. But I'll keep them going as long as I can. I have a couple decades ago, I kept them going until the middle of January.
Oh wow.
But the problem then is you're not harvesting anything because of the dark days or the short daylight. There was no blossoms being set. So all I was doing was harvesting tomatoes that were growing from when there was enough light to set the blossoms. And by the middle of January, the days are getting longer again, and already there was blossoms starting to show. But I didn't want to keep heating the greenhouse for a long time and still not being able to harvest any tomatoes. So I just shut it down that time. But I've got a 55-gallon olive barrel that I have full of water. And in the greenhouse, it can be 0 outside. This is centigrade. And it can be 37 or 38 in the greenhouse.
Right.
And
Wow.
so that's 37, 38. That's probably without.
That's like 90.
It'd be in your 90 range.
Yeah. That's
And then at nighttime, when the sun's down and when the temperature drops, then that heat from the water in that 55-gallon barrel is given off to temper the temperatures in the greenhouse. And then I have electric heater that I put in it. I set it for about 2 degrees centigrade, which is just above the freezing point. And so if it gets down that low, then the heat comes on.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I gave up years ago trying to go where I live because we have a very high population of deer in this area. And the deer jump the fence, and anything you try to grow, they will eat, quite literally. And so I gave up on trying to. The only way would be to actually build. Some people have actually built enclosed fencing areas specifically for gardens around here, because you cannot keep the deer.
Yeah, we have.
I can't grow anything because I don't have sun.
Well, my greenhouse, they can't get in that one anyway. But I had the other day I went in there and I thought I saw a rat running behind this big water barrel, and so I get a hole and I'm trying to flush it out. Next thing I know, I got 4 baby bunnies running around there.
Oh.
They weren't very damn old, maybe a day or two
no.
old. But the mother rabbit lives under the shed. Why the babies got in there, I don't know, but they couldn't jump out because of the lip at the doorway of the greenhouse. So I don't know how they got in there. So maybe the mother rabbit gave birth to them in there. I don't know.
Either that or she carried them in there.
I was just saying, it's probably cozy and there might be food in there.
Well, yeah,
it's warm.
There was weeds in there, and then there's all the tomatoes.
Yeah.
They don't bother the tomatoes so much, though. It's squirrels and the chipmunks. They go for the tomatoes. But anyway, I caught the baby rabbits and I threw them under the shed because I know the mother is under there all the time, especially when the dog chases it.
You do so much. I mean, like
imagine.
between the greenhouse and before we went live, you were talking. Oh, wait, sorry. Bye, Dylan's. Great to see you. Thanks for joining us just to chat. We'll try to have this internet thing fixed up next week and have a guest. But anyways, Ray, yeah, you do so much. And I mean, how many? You said with the treadmill you had to get a new one because how many miles a day do you do?
Well, I'm down to 5.4 kilometers minimum now. Last year I was doing 7.7 minimum, but then I do my walking with my dog in addition to that outside. But the 5.4 is all on the treadmill, and the 7.7 last year. But that's not what broke the treadmill, because it should be a lot better than that. And it's a few weeks shy of 3 years since I bought it. So it should have gone a lot longer than that. But I had problems in the first year, but they fixed that under warranty. But now the only thing that's left under warranty now is the motor. But unfortunately, the motor is the part that still works.
Of course.
Of course.
So now
Makes sense.
I'll just harvest everything that I want off of this one, and I'll get a new one and start over again and pray that it lasts longer. But there's so darn much money up here. It's just, and to get an economical one, you don't get any warranty with them. Well, you get 90 days on some of the better ones and a year on a motor. But there's a lot of them here in Canada. There is no warranty at all. You just buy it and that's it.
Yeah. Hey, Poison's Kitchen and Aquaculture. We Kelly's having internet difficulties. What's new, right? But no, this time it's literally flashing. Your internet is unstable. I'm gonna call AT&T tomorrow. Glad to see you though. We're literally just chit-chatting because I wanted to get this fixed up before we had a guest in. But I just wanted to say I do see you. Great to have you here. And if you have anything you want to chat about, it's literally open chat. We were just talking about tomatoes, so it's open chat. But
I'll put a link to the hydroponic baskets that can be used over power heads and stuff. That's on the Facebook page.
You said what, Ray? You use what?
I put a link to the type of hydroponic baskets that I use. The
Gotcha.
one that I put a link to, I think, is an 8-inch one, but I have them as small as about 1.5 inches for some. The most common one I use on the power heads is, I think it's about 2-inch.
Mm-hmm.
But the 8-inch one, that will fit over a lot of the wave makers now.
Well, and
Carol,
that,
what size is that cube that you built?
I'm
What
sorry.
diameter is that cube that you built?
It's approximately 4 by 5.
Yeah.
yeah, and see,
Actually,
and
it's a
I
little less
and
than
what
that.
while I think that thing is so cool. It's like I could see a lot of people, like if you're dedicated to seahorses, that's gonna sell like crazy, and people are gonna want to know how to do it. But then a lot of times, people want the tank to, it's such a weighing it back and forth. Do you want something practical that works, that keeps the seahorses going so that they make lots of babies and they live long, healthy, happy lives in your tank, or do you want something that looks pretty that you can show off? You know what I mean? And I still think the
Well,
box
yeah.
is prettier than some of the
Mhm.
bags over wave head makers. And I'll say too that when I use
Yeah.
mesh netting to do it, I always worry about the front because I cut it and I zip tie it and stuff, but it's only covering the sides, which restricts flow on the sides a little bit, and then the front's not covered. And I can't see seahorses being strong enough to swim into it and get their tail caught because it's literally the flow coming out. But what if they were hitched while during a feeding or something? It's still dangerous. So I like your idea, but
The problem
Yeah,
I
I
see though is
cover
how many
all of
people are
mine,
like
but yeah,
Cheryl
it's
and I
not
that have egg
pretty.
crate around.
wait, what,
The,
Ray?
thi-
The problem I see is how many people are like Cheryl and I that have egg crate around.
how many
Yeah,
people have that
yeah.
laying around?
Yeah,
Or
and
like for here, the
the smallest
strawberry
thing you can buy is
basket
2x4.
would work.
Well, the thing is that cost me to build it less than $1.
Yeah,
Well, if you already had the stuff, it didn't even cost you that.
Right.
Even if I had bought the stuff,
I
it
have
would have
some of
been
that
a couple
sitting
bucks.
around too. I just came across it today, actually, while I was moving stuff around because I had an old sump that had that egg crate stuff in it to hold stuff, like the bio balls, like you said,
Yeah.
which I still use. I still use those in my sumps, but I don't have egg crate with them. They're
that's
just
why I
in the
had the
sump.
hydroponic baskets because I used to grow tomato plants hydroponically in the basement.
That's cool. I'll have to look for some of those.
I've still got the 1,000-watt metal halide bulb here, the ballast and the bulb. So anybody need one? 1,000 watts
1,000 watt what?
metal halide.
Oh,
Oh
Oh,
no.
The bulb is huge.
I don't need the heat.
right.
Yeah.
That's what always scared me. I know a lot of people who love metal halide, however you say it, but I was always worried with seahorses about the heat. I agree. Did you use them for that purpose,
It'd be
Ray?
good for hatching brine shrimp.
Sorry,
Sorry, we're all talking at once
I've
because it's freezing.
the metal halide. I only used it for the hydroponics.
Mm,
Yeah, I know most of the reapers I know that used to use the metal halides have long since gone to other lighting forms, either T5s or a lot of times a combination of T5s and LEDs, a mixture, rather than the halides were just too big of a pain and generated way too much
It
heat.
might be good for raising brine shrimp, for hatching brine shrimp.
yeah.
The problem is though when it's going to heat, yeah, it would heat it up, but those things are so darn bright when they're on.
Yeah.
They're going to blind
Your
you.
room will be glowing.
Yeah.
Hey, while I'm thinking of it, I have a question
Please.
for you scientific minds.
Oh, you're
Okay,
talking to
so
them
last
then.
week,
Go ahead.
you might know that. You might know this too.
Go ahead.
So last week we're talking about testing water for chlorine.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys said to get some O2O solution from like the pool supply store.
Right.
So
Right.
I went to my pool supply store and I asked for that. And what she gave me is this. if you can see it.
I'm not familiar with that.
Okay. So I asked her,
guys
I
will see in a
told her
minute.
what she wasn't familiar with O2O. So I told her it's to measure chlorine. And she says, oh, I know what you're talking about. It's this, and it's just part of a pool testing kit. So anyway, so I brought it home and I put it in my tap water, like we talked about, like 5 drops in 5 milliliters of
Right.
water, and nothing happened. It didn't change color at all. So I'm thinking this might not be the right thing. So I called the pool store and I talked to somebody else there and I told him, and he said, I told him how I used it, and he said, yeah. He says, the only difference is that this one will turn red instead of yellow. He says, if you have chlorine. He says, but he says, I'm like, well, I can't believe there's no chlorine in my water. Is that even possible? In my tap water. And he said, or it might be that there's not enough chlorine to measure on the test. But I don't really know what this is compared to O2O, if it is even the same thing, or maybe if it doesn't measure as small amounts.
The thing is, with the pool test kits, they're designed, the OTO is designed to measure the chlorine and chloranamides in water, but they also measure bromide.
Right.
And there's 2 separate bottles normally when you get a pool test kit. And what I do is I ordered mine because I can get I don't know how much you paid for that, but normally pool test kits run about $8 to $10.
Yeah, this was like $9 for this little bottle.
I can get a big bottle of the OTO from Pender Aquatics for under $10, and I'm talking a bottle that's like several inches tall that I've been using now for quite some time. And it does turn yellow, and it will get very yellow if you should have any chlorine in there. And I mean, I hold it up against the light when
I've never ever tested for chlorine.
Well, I do because what I have to do sometimes, because I'm on a private well, is at times I will get contaminants in my water, and I'll get a trace of ammonia, and so I use the chlorine to eliminate the ammonia, the CChem safe to eliminate the chlorine, and so on. It's a way to sterilize the water after.
Right. I think we said we were gonna do a show on that soon. Actually talking about that in depth, but
yeah. So I don't know what this is. If anybody does, it says DPD reagent number 1.
About to Google.
And it's from a company called Taylor.
Yeah, I've never seen the DPD. I've seen the OTO, and then I forget what maybe that's the I'm thinking if there's a bromide one that they come in with bromide and
and I mean the lady that sold it to me, I mean, I was wondering if maybe she really knew what it was, but when I told the guy about it, he said, yes, I had the right thing. He said, yeah, that measures chlorine. He says, but it turns red, not yellow. He says, this one, he says, but he said, it's to measure chlorine in water. He says, if it doesn't turn red, it means you have no chlorine. He says, or there's not enough for it to measure.
Well, you can
but is that even possible for my city water to not, or well, I'm not in a city per se, I'm out in the country, right? But is it possible that there isn't chlorine or chloramines in the water?
Yeah, there isn't any in my water.
So maybe I just don't have any chlorine in our water.
It's possible.
They may not be treating your water.
Just put some bleach.
Either that or it doesn't.
Just put a drop of bleach in a glass of water and then test it.
Yeah, test
What's that?
Put a few drops of bleach
and then use this.
Oh, that's a good idea. That's a really good idea. And I'm just kind of Googling, but I'm reading a researchgate.net thing that says DPD is a total chlorine test versus the other one that's, I don't know. But I like the idea of testing with bleach And I'll look it up, look into it further when we're done, because I don't know the answer, but
So put bleach
test
in
it.
water, and then I'll know because it should turn the color in that for sure. Then
Yeah.
Right.
Add some chlorine bleach into
and
some water
put the
and run
5
a test on it.
milliliters and 5 that. Okay.
Did you get a little color card so you can tell what volume of chlorine you have?
No, they just gave me the bottle, and well, because I remember, I don't know if it was Dan that said or somebody just said, if it turns any shade, then you know you have
Yeah.
chlorine.
Yeah.
And the reason I got it was more because we were having a discussion about the roadie water, that it might still, like if there's a hole in the membrane and I don't know, or something, chlorine could get through.
That's another excellent point that just got me thinking. You got your RODI unit from bulk resupply. Bulk resupply, normally when they send out filters, one of the first filters that goes in is in the first chamber, actually is designed to remove chlorine. And that may be why you're not getting any right now.
But she tested her tap water.
the tap water,
Yeah.
because I wanted to see if there was chlorine going in to begin with, because I tested the roadie water first, and okay, I got nothing. I'm like, okay, then there's no chlorine in it. But then I tested my tap water to watch it work, and I still got nothing. So I'm like, is this even the right thing, or did I do it wrong? Or, then I'm questioning.
You might want to call your water company that supplies you with running water and ask.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they're not don't dechlorinate unless they know they have a problem, and they do it because they test bacterial loads in water.
Yeah, because in my water report, it says they use chlorine.
Yeah, I remember.
And the thing, though, I noticed about my water report is because of where I live, the water in my area, different areas within my area are getting their water from different sources. So while some of them are getting water in the valley that's been exposed to like farm chemicals and stuff, I'm up in the mountains, so I'm getting like spring water. So I don't know if they use different treatments in different areas, and maybe they're not using certain treatments in my.
I'm sure there's a difference in that. No,
maybe. Well, I say you do the testing.
The thing is it?
Sorry, go ahead.
With the bleach and see if this works, and then call the water company and ask them.
Go get a cup, put some water in it, put some drops in. Let's see what it does.
I will be right back.
It'll only take you a few seconds.
We're gonna do the experiment live, even unfortunately because of the internet instability. As we're talking, they are freezing, and you're seeing whatever they do like 10 seconds after they do it. Sorry, guys, but it is what I may not even post this video, but I do have it if anybody wants to watch it later. But let's see what Holly finds out. And
are we all freezing?
It's not you guys' fault. It's this computer. I already know it. Hey, anybody who's joined recently, I was talking earlier, I found a Google Drive little icon down in the lower right of this PC. And I clicked it, and I was like, well, I use Google Drive all the time, so I was going to log in. And it was like, if you didn't download this, do not log in. And so I didn't, but now I can't. I mean, on a PC, it's not as easy as on a Mac to just put something in the trash. So now I'm trying to uninstall it, but I can't seem to figure it out. So if you know anything about that, let me know, because this computer's just been terrible all day. We pay big bucks for fiber internet, and it's telling me my internet's unstable, and yeah, sorry, I'm rambling, but Cheryl, it's not you guys' fault that you're freezing. It's like Zoom is just completely freezing. So Holly will say, is this the stuff you mean? And then like 10 seconds later, she finally holds it up. So totally on my end, and we'll get it fixed. But yeah, I was rambling. Sorry.
4 to 5 mLs.
I'm going to put Well, what happened is I put the tap water in here
Yeah.
and then I poured a little bit of bleach, so it's maybe like half a cap of bleach. So there's a lot of bleach in
Okay.
here.
Okay.
And then now I got my little bottle, so I'm gonna set that down and open it, and then I'll show you guys. We'll see what happens.
Live testing.
It shouldn't take a whole bottle, I don't. Oh yeah, it's turning red. Look at that. Can you see it?
It's not really visible.
Hold it up for a second because it'll take a second for it to
Looks
unfreeze
more
on this
pink
end.
from the
Yeah, well,
Okay,
now
so
that
it's
I move
reactive.
it away, let me put it in a little 5 milliliter thing,
Dang it.
so I don't have to use half a bottle of this
Yeah, don't waste it.
stuff.
And guys, it should unfreeze in a second and you'll see
Thank
it
you.
turn red. I hope.
Yes. And one day I realized I can get a whole big bottle of this stuff for the same price. And I've had this bottle for over a year now.
Mm-hmm. What's she
Kelly,
doing? I'm sorry, Ray, go ahead.
you were talking about your internet being a lot. I just looked up on mine to see what I'm paying. The internet itself isn't so bad. It's $40 a month, but the TV is 105 a month. And you gotta have both.
To get the deal.
Get, like, I have to have the TV and the home phone to get that $40 internet price.
Yep.
So altogether, my Bell bill is $199.29.
Yeah, I can tell you ours is a lot more. But we chose because I knew I'd be live streaming and I've got 2 teenage daughters, that are constantly going. And we're just an internet family, which is terrible. I think we should all go outside and put our phones away. But in the meantime, I knew I'd be streaming and stuff, so we paid number 1 for the fiber lines, which are more expensive, and then number 2, the internet companies are killing us, you guys. They're killing us. They're taking. They have it at rates now. Like you
Well,
can
I
get
pay
300,
I'm
500, 1,000. We're paying for the most that we can get, and it's still like this. Your internet connection's unstable. I'm calling them tomorrow.
She
Like,
froze
what the
again.
hell? But sorry, Holly, go ahead.
All right, I'm gonna put this in. Are we ready? So it didn't turn red before. It was my finger behind it.
Oh,
So
it did not then?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nothing.
So it's not working.
Nothing happened. So
I would be
like
heading back to that pool
quite
store
a
being
bit of
like, you're an
bleach
idiot.
in there, and yeah, there's nothing there, no color at all, and that's got, like I said, a half a cap of bleach for that little thing of water. So
That thing should have been bright red.
if it can't detect that,
I would go down there and ask for your money back and be like,
Yeah.
no.
Kelly, one thing I was going to say about your TV, I canceled my TV because we don't really watch a lot of TV normally. However, my son said, Mom, why don't you buy just an antenna? Got a little antenna. It's a little black thing. It's about 6 by 8 dimension. It's less than a 16th of an inch wide. And we get like 50 channels.
Mm-hmm.
Cost me $30.
Nice.
And it's mine.
Well, and I'm in the same circuit.
And we get all the ones.
Sorry, go ahead.
I mean, I was gonna say we even get like the NFL and all of that stuff.
Nice.
And I never have to pay a monthly fee for TV. And I didn't even know that these things really work until my son convinced me that they did.
Yep.
It's the best thing I ever purchased.
And we tried something like that.
I'm bragging about you, Brian.
And we did try something like that, but then, and I'm in the same boat as what Ray said. Like the deal, we're paying for the fiber lines, I think we're at like 1,000. I don't even know what it is, gigabytes or whatever. But like the lowest is 300, and we're paying for 1,000, so we're paying for more for that. But I'm in the same situation as Ray, where you can't just do internet. You've got to do some package deal. So we pay for this. We paid for the most basic cable type situation because we never turn on the TV. I mean, you could basically have. I mean, YouTube's TV anymore. You can watch. I like. I
This
like
is
the
why,
Five. I don't know if you guys have ever watched the
yeah,
Five. They're
this
just.
That's
is why
how we
I
do
can't.
it.
I canceled my service with Spec.
I'm so sorry. They're breaking up. I can't. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
guys. I'm
I
not trying to
canceled
interrupt
my
you guys.
Spectrum
It's just you're breaking
TV and
up.
internet.
Go ahead, Cheryl.
Yeah, I'm saying I canceled my internet with TV and internet, and we have a co-op here that does fiber optics internet and uh, TV, internet and TV. So I took out the fiber optics internet because I needed that, and I'm quite satisfied with it, and got my little $30 antenna. And so I'm spending roughly $50 a month for TV and internet. And this is a decent high speed internet.
Well, you're smarter than I am, for sure. But I really like having, like I said, the other thing you have to consider, guys, is that not only do I try to stream and do three things at once, but I also have teenage daughters, which I tell to get off the internet when I'm doing this. But and we just got four people in this house constantly on items, and I hate that. Like I said, I wish we'd go outside more and do other things. But we never watch the TV. And the way mine is, I'm sorry, I know we're not talking about seahorses anymore, but mine's like the phones, the internet, and the cable are all lumped in together. So like I'm constantly like, why am I paying $50 for cable when we never turn on the TV ever? You can watch. I was saying earlier, I like the Five, and I like other news stuff and different shows. But you can get them either on Netflix, Hulu, or on YouTube. Like you don't even need a TV anymore, cable anymore. Um, if you're willing to wait like a day later to watch whatever. But
Can you block somebody on YouTube?
what was it?
Can you block somebody on YouTube?
Yeah,
Need
why?
some attention.
Oh, yep, sorry. Yep, I can try. I don't know if I'm going to be able to while I'm doing this, but I can certainly try. I wish Salty was here. Hang on, let me see if I can do it. No, aren't.
Yeah, I have the AT&T Uver, so my phone and internet are together. And my internet actually works really well, but when the power goes out, I lose the phone and the internet. And my internet I have a backup battery that'll last, I think, about 4 hours or so. And when the power goes out, I finally figured out how to switch off the sound, but it used to have this alarm. It would beep really loud every few seconds, and your power goes out in the middle of the night, and then it's all beep, beep.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's annoying because the power goes out and then none of it works.
Yeah.
Right.
Back in the old days, if your power was out, at least the phone would work.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, well,
That
they were
still works
separate.
here for me.
Separate.
I don't have a
I
smartphone. I
haven't,
got a home phone.
I haven't had a
Yeah.
land.
I can carry it around, but it's only going to work around the yard and in the house.
Yeah, we have that too. See, that's part of my internet thing. We have the house phone, but the house phone now is part of the internet. It's not, like the phone systems used to be here where you could have a separate landline from the power line.
Right.
Well, I got by 70 odd years without it, so I figure I can keep on going.
Yeah.
I get a hissy fit every time I see the bill that my kids or the grandkids are paying. Like it's over $100 a month for just a cheap rate on these stupid smartphones.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, I hear you. Yeah, mine is.
I don't
I'm
care. I'll
glad.
admit it.
You're making me glad.
With our bundling, we pay. But you got to remember, I've got 4 people with phones. So, and they all, of course, want the latest and greatest phones and whatever. Anyways, 4 people with phones, and then we've got internet and cable. And they do separate it. It's like you have to have it all to get the deals, and you have to renew those deals every year. But
The deal. Yeah.
but the it's broken down into what you're actually paying for. And I'm telling you all this because if you guys know better deals, I want to hear about them. But I'm paying 4 phones, the latest, and we get to re-up them every year, I think, year and a half. But it's like $220 is what we're paying for these phones. But it's the phones and the service, and then I think that includes something else having to do with something. But then we only pay 100 and
You have insurance probably to
I
support, like if a
maybe.
phone gets lost, they'll replace it.
I've got a flip phone and I put $100 on it every year. Well, except for when my credit builds up a lot, they'll take the 100 right off my credit. But I use that for when I do curbside pickup.
Yeah.
When I go order my groceries and so on, and I get there and I need a phone to call them to tell them what spot I'm in and where to bring it out to.
Yeah.
So, and originally we got it, the kids got fed up because whenever we went to the cottage, we don't have a phone at the cottage. And the kids would get upset. Like when they were kids, they were with us. But then when they grew up and got their own families, then they were concerned because they weren't going with us then. And they wanted to know what's going on, that we didn't get in an accident driving 500 kilometers to get there and so on. And then, of course, well, if we're there for a couple of weeks and they can't talk to us,
Yeah.
that's a real
That can be a good thing. That can be a good thing.
They got together and they bought a phone, give it to my wife so that they could reach her. We just kind of forgot to turn it on all the time.
How
Well,
convenient.
guys, moving back to seahorses.
Yeah, wait,
The,
Cheryl, let me really
unexpected-
quickly. I definitely want to hear what you're saying about seahorses, and if Holly has any other questions. But I wanted to say Poison. Apparently, we're just popular with our little tomato and internet chats, okay? Because yeah, you don't usually get trolled, especially when it's not going well tonight. So it's not some special guest. But hey,
Yeah.
I think I removed him. If you guys see it again, make sure to alert me. I think he is removed and reported, but we shall see. And lovely picture. Gotta love the trolls. It makes me feel really good because you don't get trolled unless you're doing something right? And we haven't done much
I
right
guess
tonight.
they're worth trolling.
Yep.
Huh?
But go ahead,
So I
Cheryl.
did have
Maybe the
another.
bridge will fall down on them.
Okay, time out. I know, Holly, I will make sure we get your other question, but Cheryl, you were trying to talk and I interrupted you. What were you saying about seahorses?
Well, I was going to say my unexpected fry. I've only lost 3, and they're now 11 days old.
And how many did they have?
Probably about 20 was all.
Okay.
I never counted them, but there
Gotcha.
weren't very many. But the ones that are doing well have more than doubled in size now.
Nice. And these are from
So,
the
considering,
sunbursts?
I'm sorry?
Are they from the sunbursts or? I'm trying to remember.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, the one female and male that were working on dancing for quite some time. I thought they were dancing because they were practicing. And I got up that one morning and I had fry in my tank. And now they're not practicing, they're doing it again.
Well, go figure. I mean, these guys are slick to trick even Cheryl. My goodness.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so glad that
Well,
they're
the fry,
doing well.
I mean, this was his first time. Yeah, this was their first time. They're still very young. I've only had them a few months. And so I'm not surprised. What I am surprised about is that they're actually still alive because they were no bigger than what Combs fry or maybe even closer to reed-eye fry size when they were born. They were definitely small.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Yeah,
first batch.
Sandy
Are you
batches,
taking?
most of them, they were decided to pick the dance.
Are you taking pictures
I'm sorry?
and keeping track of their like showing how small they were in growth and stuff?
Well, I posted some when they were first born. I need to get some more of them now. I was going to do that today, but got busy with other things.
Sure.
But they definitely have grown,
That's
and
awesome.
they're not all going to make it. I already knew that, but I'm actually amazed that they're doing as well as they are.
Yeah, and I want to make sure that you do give us updates like on their next batch to really show people if the first batch kind of goes poop, you know, don't give up because the first batch is usually not great. I know other people say that's not true. I believe that that's true. Every time in my case, the first batch.
I've got actual I've got actual photos of a first time pair.
Yeah.
The fry on newborns day one, the size 6 months later, and the size 12 months later, and they do not look like the same species.
Yep.
Literally.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait to watch them grow and see how they do and congratulations. That's awesome. And your next batch too.
Well,
That's fun to watch when you look back, when you take pictures of them when they're the tiny babies and then you still have them a year or so later. And you're like, oh, I keep finding old pictures of Sadie when she was teeny, teeny fry.
Mm-hmm.
And now she's like 6 inches or 7 inches. And I'm like, wow, did you grow in a year?
I have a macro lens in a small tank that I use, and I'll put fry in there. And that's where I get using this macro lens was designed for dental surgery. So, I mean, it's really has a high acuity. And the difference it's fun for me to look back through and go back through some of my photographs. And I start going, oh, look at the difference the 6 months made. And then you're like, look at the difference another 6 months made. But of course, at that time, this paper was nice, decent sized, and doing very well. So I'm not concerned. I'm just finding it surprising that they're doing as well as they are.
Right. First batch, absolutely. Okay, all right. Listen, I know Ray's probably getting ready to bail on us, and I'm gonna have to call it here in a minute because the computer's just going wanky, guys. I apologize. But Holly, I want to make sure you get a chance to do your question. What was it?
How do you dispose of formalin safely when it goes bad?
Good question. Cheryl?
Or formaldehyde, I guess, is what it is.
I am not.
Go ahead.
I'm not sure.
I think that question was asked once when Dan was on, and he said to literally take it to the sanitization department or whatnot. I can't remember exactly. I'd have to go back and really look at what he said.
Like
do you remember, Ray?
Waste or something?
Or what do you do, Ray? Did he leave us?
Uh-oh. Is Ray frozen now?
I think maybe.
I see. I would think you could take it to a pharmacy. And you know how they have the medical drop this? I would check that out.
Try that.
That's my first thought. It's been ages since I've used.
Or call them and ask them.
Wait, Cheryl, you don't use formalin anymore?
That would work too. Yeah. I do, but I just haven't had the need for it in a long time.
So you don't use it on fry tanks, on tubs?
Not unless they start scratching.
Interesting. That's really interesting to me. We're going to have to talk about that in the future.
The thing is, if I've got the tank set up correctly, and if the parental tank is clean, which it darn well better be, I do not see a lot of those problems that I used to see when I was first starting out.
Sure, and all that does is say that you're doing things absolutely right. It was just interesting because I know the real commercial breeders do use formalin as a preventative for I think 3 days or whatever. But since Dan's not here, I'm not going to try to speak for him. And what?
Well, I know it depends on the breeder too, because some of them use it prophylactically on day 1, 3, and 5.
That's what
others
I do.
Yeah, others say, I'm not going to use it unless I need it.
Right. But I think that's cool.
I'm not going to use it
Sorry. I think that's really cool that you don't. Just showing that you can be really successful without it. That's awesome. Hey, Chris, Carrie, I know every time you guys jump in at the last minute, I always call it, but we're having terrible internet connection tonight, and they keep freezing, so I'm not going to um, keep it rolling when they can't really speak very easily, and we keep talking all over each other. But so glad to see you. I'll be posting the Seahorse and Pipefish events
Does
from
Chris
Macno
use
really soon, so thank you again. What, Cheryl? As I said,
does Chris use formalin?
Chris, do you use formalin on fry? I'm guessing no. I'm guessing no. I don't even know. Can you get formalin over there? And do you use it? I'm curious. Chris, let us know. Because I know a lot of commercial breeders do use, as Cheryl was just describing, formalin on what was it, day 3, 1, 3, and 5 or something?
1, 3, and 5. It's every other day, basically.
Yeah.
For the first 3 treatments.
And Cheryl was
I don't
saying
treat
she does not.
anything unless need. Yeah, I don't use anything unless I'm sure that I need it. And my first go-to is clean up the water.
Right. Right. Well, I mean, I think the main reason is just ciliates, right? Like,
I heard it can come with the brine shrimp, though, with the
right.
brine shrimp eggs.
Yes,
Is
exactly.
what I was told.
Now, you broke
The
off.
brine shrimp eggs can carry it.
That
I've been told.
Dan and I had this discussion years ago because and what we were doing is experimenting with different fry systems, and we could have one fry system where everybody was itchy, scratchy, and going crazy,
Mm-hmm.
and several other fry systems were nothing, absolutely nothing, and they were getting fed the same out of the same brine shrimp hatchery.
Interesting.
So we ultimately decided that we were probably wrong in assuming that it was coming from the brine shrimp cysts,
Yeah,
because
but you think, but
otherwise they should have all had.
well, I wanted to read off. Chris did say they do have formalin, but he uses it very infrequently, and it's hard to get in Australia. And I will also say that Cheryl's brine shrimp hatchery is a lot different than, say, Kelly's brine shrimp hatchery. Okay, she does all of the. I mean, she's talking about sterilizing and using bleach to get chlorine out of water and all this. But she does these really awesome things that we love that she shares here on Wednesday. But for the average Joe, I can guarantee you there's some ciliates and God knows what else in my Artemia hatchery because I don't do the really extensive, really good things that she does. I have learned from Cheryl and Dan about peroxide and doing that kind of thing, but I'm just saying the average Joe, I would definitely look to your brine shrimp hatchery because they are dirty little suckers, especially if you're not careful.
Yeah.
So,
See,
but
I bleach every. I have several brine shrimp hatchers,
yeah,
and I bleach them between each use.
yeah. And you do lots of other stuff, and we've got to do that show too. So I keep telling Dan we got to do the Artemia hatcheries episode soon. We got to. Everybody, that's one everybody wants. So I'll keep
Yeah, it's
talking to
been a
him,
while.
keep talking to her. But yeah, going back to your question, Holly, Chris,
Mhm.
maybe you can answer because I know we talked about this before and I know Dan did give a great answer, but I can't remember exactly what he said without going back. How do you get rid of formalin? And Holly, is it just outdated or why are you getting rid of it?
Yeah, no, it's bad. I have a thing of formalin that went bad that I need to get rid of it. And it's like a hazardous waste, isn't
Right.
it?
Yeah, you shouldn't.
Well,
Yeah.
it's a carcinogen, first of all. It's cancer
So
causing,
yeah, you can't
and that
throw it
law
away.
makes it high risk. And depending on your state, in California, I'm not even sure you can legally do anything with formalin because
Right.
there's
Hey,
so
I want to make a
restricted.
public
I
announcement
can't
right
take it
now.
to the
Whatever we say on this
dump.
show, please check your state's laws, please. Like, yeah, we're not advising anything. Check your state laws. But go ahead. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
you may have to take it to a hazard waste material.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
what I'm thinking. I'll just have to call around and find
Yeah.
out.
Because I wasn't thinking about, but being in California, they have such stringent laws.
Yeah, we do.
In fact, they were one of the first to actually ban the sale of formalin and a lot of other things over many other states.
Yeah, there was some kind of paint additive that my husband wanted. He's been seeing on YouTube, and it was some kind of additive you put in paint, and so went to get it, and they sell it like at Home Depot in places, but when I went to order, it was saying it wasn't available. It wasn't, and I'm ever nowhere. And then finally I figured out that it's illegal in California.
Yeah, if you look at a lot of labels, read a lot of labels on different chemicals, it will say this is not something to the effect, this is not legal in California due to it is a known carcinogen.
Yeah, I forget what this. It was called Floetrol, I think. And yeah, you put it in paint for cars, and yeah, I forget what it does. It makes the paint spread easier or creates some kind of effect he wanted or something. And yeah, you can't get it
you'd
here.
have to,
You have to go buy
California,
it in Nevada. People were saying
California is so restrictive.
Mhm.
I got some Walmart, picked up some stuff at Walmart, and they threw in some measuring cups and measuring spoons as free gifts.
Mhm.
And right on them it says, as per such and such a number, and this is considered a carcinogen in California.
Uh-huh.
Well, you can't even have Chlorine in California, can you? Isn't it illegal?
Everything's a carcinogen in California. I've heard, well, yeah, there is some. I think Chlorpa is one, yeah, because it could take over our waterways or
Right.
something.
It's invasive and it grows very rapidly in California.
Right.
That's been in place since I first.
That's a long time, yeah. Because I remember not being able to get it many years ago because everybody talked about it for the Seahorse tanks, and you can't get it here.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
it's
Holly, tell us the truth. Did you vote no or yes? I'm kidding. Don't tell us. But
Oh.
is it going well? Are people seeming happy with the results?
Yeah, they voted no. We voted no on the recall.
Yeah.
Like most of the state did.
Yeah.
But I thought it was really a waste of taxpayers' money. And it's like my husband says, the election's coming right up anyway. What are people thinking?
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think he's doing a bad job, honestly, so I think it's just a Republican thing. They just want to get him out so they can have their way.
Without getting
too,
Republicans are moving to Texas.
Without getting too deep into politics, I'm just curious though. So, I mean, the things that people, Republicans or not, are saying about California, like he's not doing good with the fires, he's not doing good with homeless, that's not true? You don't see it?
No, I think he's doing what he can. And honestly, I mean, a lot of this stuff is stuff that we got stuck with, from laws that were made when Republicans were in office.
Gotcha.
And the fact that they don't want to fund the forests or, they don't want to fund the programs.
Gotcha.
So how is anybody going to be able to do anything?
The thing is, it's
inflation. We're a little afraid of inflation coming, but go ahead, Cheryl. And then let's go away from politics. We never want to go there.
I was going to say, I always avoid getting into political discussions,
right?
Because it's like our governor, who I do not like, who happens to be a Republican. A couple of years ago, he made a decision to block municipalities from annexing surrounding areas of land without the approval of the voters. And he blocked that and put that in law. So that I loved him for, because my property was one of the areas that was going to be annexed by the city of San Antonio, which we were all opposed to. So with politics, it's one of those things where they're never going to make you happy the whole time.
Yep. And I think it's really important to look at the actual issues versus just saying Like I'm not a Republican and I'm not a Democrat. I'm neither. I'm an independent, and I vote based on what they say, and they're all usually liars anyways. So screw it, right?
Oh, yeah,
And I am,
that's
guys. I
true.
am from Indiana. Mike Pence was my governor, so I'm gonna leave it there. Anyways, go ahead. Let's go on. Did you have any other
I'm just,
seahorse questions, Miss Holly, or topics you wanted to ask? I will find out about the
Um,
formalin, and we'll come back to that next week.
no. Oh, maybe about, I was wondering about, because I have some of my test kits, my API ones are getting close to expiration. So I was wondering, kind of how like you have some medications that last you a little longer than what they actually say, that kind of thing. Is there any of the types of tests that should last longer than what says on the expiration date, or that actually are going bad before that point? Or I mean, how are those tests as far as that? Yeah, like nitrates, nitrites, ammonia test, all those kind of things.
Well, to answer that, first off, I'm going to say we need to pull an expert in to talk about that. And I do want to mention that I'm still working on the rock curing expert that we're going to get to come in and talk, and on possibly getting Ocean Rider to come in and talk too soon. But that didn't answer your question, I know. And frankly, I just go by the
Just
expiration dates.
wondering.
Cheryl, what are your thoughts?
I want Ocean Rider to come in.
Well, right,
Yeah.
right. I know, but what about Holly's question? With test kits, or anybody in the audience, what do you guys think?
Yeah,
With
the thing
test
is,
kits, should
none of
you?
the, first of all, if you're looking at it from a pure science perspective,
Mhm.
kits that are actually going to give you truly accurate readings are going to be prohibitive. They're going to be in this scientific field. So everything we're using, that's why they're called hobbyist kits.
Mhm.
They all have a margin of error.
Mhm.
Mhm.
That's the first thing. In terms of the longer it sits there, I've seen, I don't remember what it was. I've seen test kits that I've used, and they were still way within the inside the expiration date,
Mhm.
Mhm.
and they gave me a reading of 0. Pull out another make, and they're giving me a reading.
Ooh.
So it's just,
Yeah, so
and
you really can't trust them hardly
But
too.
but
no,
but
you
the
can't.
margin of error is usually pretty low, right? It's not like you could have.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, if you got 0.25 ammonia, that's not good, obviously, but or 0.15 even or
yeah.
whatever.
The thing is, what I tell people, get to know, pick a brand
Mhm.
that you're comfortable with,
Mhm.
get to know the test kits, run some, comparisons to other test kits just for verification,
Mhm.
but get to know that particular test kit
Mhm.
or type of test kits, because none of them are going to be spot on.
Yeah.
You And I never use, I'll tell you up front, if they're getting close to the expiration
Mhm.
date, which rarely happens around here because I use them
Yeah, I've never
constantly,
had that
they're going,
happen. So,
yeah,
but
they're going in the trash.
yeah,
I'm just getting rid of them. It's not worth taking a chance of them
yeah.
being wrong.
Well, I made
And the
notes,
other thing
Holly,
too
and I'm
is,
I'm gonna try to get an expert in here to really tell us about this because I'm not sure either.
yeah,
But
the other thing too is when you look, you get to know your seahorses. You get to know how they
right.
normally behave. You get to know how they swim, how they feed. And the first red flag is if they're behaving abnormally, there's something wrong with the tank.
Yep.
Mhm.
If they're hitching, they're not moving around, or they're swimming fast, rapidly, and
Mhm.
scratching, or they're rubbing up against
Mhm.
things. There's something wrong in there. You need to figure out what it is. They're your best indicator, quite
Yeah.
frankly.
True. And I wanted to tell you too, Cheryl, speaking of Ocean Rider, that my yellows, my oranges, ever since they stopped eating and I pulled them out and I put them back in, they're doing better. They're eating. They're doing good. But the yellows in the all-in-one have just that are in with Aphrodite. They have just gotten so big. Aphrodite too. They're getting so big so quick. And they all like when I put the baster, because I just like using a baster, guys. They don't, I spoil them. It's okay. They're mine. I put the baster in, and they're
Oh
coming
yeah.
up and pecking at the baster. Like, give me the food from the baster. They're just doing so well.
Yeah. They do that. Or they ride on it, huh?
Yep,
Yeah.
I don't even. I broadcast feed. I don't even mess with them
I
because
know.
they see me heading to the top of the tank. I can start dumping food in, and they're already doing the Rocketeer moves to get all the food.
Right, and
I
that's
don't
true.
even.
That's true in this tank too. Like Aphrodite still doesn't like go way up top, but the two yellows they do, and they'll be literally with their crowns out of the water. I've
I was
taken a
gonna say
couple
mine are
pictures.
lazy.
Huh? What'd you say? I
Yeah.
thought somebody said
I
something.
I
Go ahead.
videoed one of mine today. He had part of his head was sticking out, so he was squirting the little
Yep,
fountain.
yep, yep.
I didn't
Exactly.
post it yet. I got it on video. I think that's so funny when they do that.
Yep,
Was
and
it Heather that posted the video of the one seahorse stealing food out of the other seahorse when it snicked the mysis, but it didn't get all the way down?
no, that was me. I posted that. Yeah, or she
That
might
was
have too, but
good.
I
Yeah.
posted
That
one. Yeah.
you?
Yep, it was,
That
and that was
I was
funny.
funny. I
laughing.
saw that. Yeah.
Hey, Ray, I know we're kind of
But
all over the place right now, but I totally agree. Social media is the downfall of democracy. I would have to, as much as I love it and obviously use it and want you guys to come to One Wednesday and such, social media, the misinformation, the political pulls and ties and just the hate spread on both sides. I totally agree with what you said. Somebody was saying earlier, you know what people love the 80s? We didn't have the internet. You could go out, you knew people that were just in your circle, and it wasn't so much worldwide bashing each other on everything. So, but I love all of you that come to Wine Wednesday, and we don't care about politics here. And I just want all of you to be happy and your seahorses to do great. And that's about it. I think I am going to call it for the night unless you had anything else, Holly. I will investigate your questions and come back next week. But just the freezing's driving me crazy. So you think we can call it for the night, ladies?
Yeah. By then, maybe I'll figure out the formalin, and I can tell you guys what to do with it.
Exactly. I mean, I'm going to ask too, and we can discuss it. That'll be the first thing next week. I'm taking notes. All right. Well, thank you for you guys who did hang with us, even though we had some internet issues tonight. I'm calling AT&T tomorrow, so we'll let you know what's going on. But if we change anything, those of you that come every week, I will make sure you guys know if we do change anything. But otherwise, I'm going to say happy One Wednesday. Cheers. Everybody else say bye.
Bye. Cheers.
bye. Happy Wine Wednesday.
My little watermelons. Have a seahorse swimmingly seahorsey. I can't even think of a good pun. Good night. I don't have it. I can't even end the stream. Tish. Keep looking at the wine. It's transfixing you.
Good night.
Man, come on.
Now I see your wine.
Yeah,
Or
I
champagne.
What have you
literally.
got floating over your fingers? I'm like, what has she got floating in there?
It's
It's watermelon. I can't even end the
so
I
stream,
know
you
it
guys.
did look like.
Oh my gosh, this is incredible. So people are looking at me trying to end the stream. Okay, I'll have to.